How long has the business been going now?
So we've been going for about 6.5 years now.
Wow.
So I think most of the growth has happened both in terms of people and revenue, etc., in the last 4 years, something
Do
like
you mind
that.
if I
So I think,
ask you about that? Just because
yeah,
I know a lot of people will be really interested in it. Because that's almost with, especially in like the startup community,
mm,
it's you so many people fail
yeah,
that actually it's quite nice to, and then likewise, so many people start, but actually it might not be to year 2, 3 that they start to actually get traction.
yeah,
So actually, if they hear from people that have blatantly made it and done really well, and it took them until year 2 to 3 before it really started to take off. If they're currently at year 1.5,
mm.
they don't give up because actually, it's like, what was your growth in terms of revenue and people like over those 6.5 years? Just because I think it'll really add value to
Yeah,
people.
no, totally. So I think like the first 2.5 years, we went from kind of me in a cafe to about 6 people, and in a little office, all sharing pizzas, all that sort of thing, and kind of in terms of revenue growth, that's probably about 0 to 2 million, something around there. And then it was kind of really at that point where we're like, okay, either we just continue growing like this, and that might be fine, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's like some people just kind of want to go at a
Hmm.
steady pace, keep growing.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of businesses like that, and they're the backbone of the UK economy. There's nothing wrong with that, but you do have to make an active decision. Either you are going to do that, or you want to actually grow, and you want to grow at a much faster pace. And so the moment that you say, right, actually, do you know what, we're wanting to go faster than this, you have to make sure you've got the right plans. You've got to make sure you've got the right investment, in order to kind of facilitate that growth. Otherwise, you're gonna stall. In fact, I think I talked about it earlier, but the four key things in any for any business to think about are kind of the people, the cash, the strategy. So that's kind of how are you going to attack the market that you're in, and
Hmm.
then the execution, how are you actually going to follow that through and deliver. Those are the four key areas of business that you need to really think about when you're starting to go, right, we're wanting to scale.
No, I love it. And then at what point did you bring in external investment? Because again, a really hot topic because
Yeah,
people, do they do it? Do they not do it? How much? And it's that balance again, as someone that's been and done it. Have you got
yeah.
any advice to give on kind of raising investment?
Um, I think this is. I mean, this is a really tricky one, and because it's very difficult to answer this question without kind of knowing the specifics of someone's business. Because I mean, there's three main forms of getting money, and kind of either you kind of raise debt, or you raise capital through either private equity or venture capital. Um, I think which one of those routes you go down, it has to depend on your business. Like
Mhm.
if you're um, if and it depends on kind of how quickly you're wanting to grow. If you're pre-profit and you want to grow really really quickly, as long as you have a big total addressable market, and I'm talking kind of probably billion pound plus total addressable market that you could in theory um, contract with or sell to, or
Mhm.
whatever it is that your business does, then VC is probably the best way to go. If you're kind of you're a profitable business, you're generating some cash, and actually what you want to do is scale out what you do. So you're not really kind of wanting to um, do much other than get better and better and better at what you do. Maybe kind of take some acquisitions, maybe grow through that way. Then PE is probably the route for you. If you're super high profit, and kind of you think that you can get down kind of the growth journey that you want with debt, that's also fine. It means you keep your equity, but it does mean kind of that you're giving away some of your kind of your earnings on an ongoing basis. So like it's really difficult to say without kind of having specific business in front of you, kind of what would be the recommended route. But I think kind of broadly speaking, that would be my advice. And the route that we went down at the time, is we took on debt. I think it's partly because we wanted to retain a lot of the control of the business, and for the amount of capital that we needed to raise, we probably
Mhm.
wouldn't have been able to kind of do that without going down the debt route. I think that now we'll be going through another raise at some point over this next 12 months. I think we'll be looking at debt, but for working capital reasons, but we won't be looking at debt for growth reasons.
Wow.
Um, this next time, because I think, like I say, we're wanting to go on a much faster pace of growth than we already are, and so we're going to look at the options there.
Yeah, that's cool. But you know what? Like I do a lot of stuff in the startup community, and I hear a lot of speakers on different things. I think that's the best anyone's described it, and that includes the finance people themselves. So I appreciate it. I think it's cool. But I
All
think
right.
it's the kind of it's the honest truth that I think people genuinely value,
Mm.
as opposed, because again, VCs and whoever will always sell the dream.
Yeah.
Actually, for someone that's been through it, it's nice to hear.
Yeah. I should say, like, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but I think the really important things from both a VC and a PE perspective is you really, really need to make sure that the people that you're getting money from share the same values as you.
Yeah.
I talked about values already, but it is really, really important, because if you've not got the right values from both your internal team but also your external partners, then you're gonna clash heads at some point, and you want people who are supportive of the mission, of the journey, rather than people who are kind of trying to just kind of line their own pockets as much as possible.